Hey everyone, it's Yaron Batan here from Heroes Manufactured Live. Glad to be here today with you guys. We're here for a very special episode. Not Heroes Manufactured Live, actually. Sorry to say this. It's called Stevil Manufactured Live, and that's because today we're going to introduce you to one of my good friends, my humble leader. His name is Mr. Dr. Stevil. Hey there. Who's that over there?
Hello, Yaron. How are you? Good.
Great,
Yeah.
great. Thanks for having me on your show, Doctor. And I applaud you for having me as a guest on your show because
Well,
I'm.
you know what? Yaron, I had one simple request, and that's to have a promo with me stating I'm going to be on your show so I can show it all my fans. But you failed to do this. Hence, I had to take action and take over your show for the day. Okay? So that's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sorry,
I'll
I
let
mean,
you ask a few questions if you choose, but.
yeah, and sorry for the credits there. I put special guest Dr. Stevil. It should have been me as the special guest, but you as the leader of all leaders. So my apologies again. I hope I don't get zapped by any lasers because
Flattery gets you everywhere. Thank you.
yeah, lasers are deadly. So
Lasers. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I'd love to get right into it with you. I've got some questions for our great leader, Dr. Stevil here. I
You like?
do
Oh,
have
by
a
the way, you like my new COVID dress, right?
yeah.
It's a bit. It's more dark, ominous instead of my gray. Plus, it's got
I
my
was
little
going to ask
logo.
you about that. Like, is that your casual wear? Is it because you're a bit out of outfit today? What's that all about?
No, it's my casual COVID wear. See, and
Oh,
beneath, I'm not really wearing pants, so this is all you're gonna see right now,
no,
right?
that's awesome. That's awesome. I definitely want to get some of your outfits. Maybe I'll be your mini me or something like that. But
Gonna have to shave the head, my friend.
yeah, well,
Look at this.
perfect timing. COVID-19. I can definitely get my wife to do it. So. Uh, so we'll get right into it
Maybe
with
it could
some.
be like Brazilian wax, and let's try that.
Oh my God, Brazilian wax on your hair. That's yeah, right on your forehead too.
I
Uh,
like that. It's a new torture I'm gonna devise. Thank you.
so yeah, I want to get to know a little bit about Stevil, how you became Stevil, because your previous name was Steve Zmijak, right? Or
Steve
Zmijak.
Zmijak, Steve Zmijak, hey you, whatever gets your attention, whatever you pay me for, you can call me Susie if you want, as long as you pay me. Like it's the way things is. But
So it took you many years to become Stevil, but very proud years. And tell us a bit about, I guess, how you got into performing as a cosplayer, working, attending in Comic Cons as a guest, but also in many other events that you're part of. If you could just share a little bit about that at first, so we can get to know a little bit about your history and kind of your background.
well, I'm originally a comic book fan. I'm big, like DC fan mostly. A few Marvel stuff, right? So like I totally would have always loved to comic go on to Comic Cons, but we didn't have too many when I was a kid. But recently I've been overseas in Afghanistan, working overseas, and I get a chance to travel on my vacations, right, or visit home. But whenever I do, I would look in the paper or online and find out there's a Comic Con, and I always miss it by about a week or so. So I was really upset. There's a comic convention that I'm missing because I'm working overseas. That whoa. So eventually, when I got a chance to, when I finished working over there, I managed to go to my first Comic Con. I kind of went with, as me, and I saw all these people dressed up in cool costumes. Like, wow, that's amazing. This is more interesting than any of the celebrity guests they had. Actually, I didn't know. Well, I knew they had celebrity guests, but I didn't pay attention to them because I was so interested in the artists and the cosplayers. There's one guy called he's that Joker guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he's an artist there. That's the freaking Joker. I was amazed by this.
Yeah, he's a
I
great
want.
guy. I actually did a class with him a few years ago at Ty Templeton School. That guy's amazing. I mean, the fact that he can do cosplay and do the art, it's unbelievable. And I mean, one thing that stands out to me about you, you're not like the typical cosplayer. You're actually a very a different comical personality. I would really say you're an influencer, and you don't find many comic cosplayers that are influencers. And the reason I say that is um, you bring a sort of funness to these shows and to these events that you don't typically see cosplayers do. You bring a personality, you bring a character, and you roll with it throughout the show, which a lot of cosplayers do, but they don't fully get into it and sink themselves in. Sometimes they get out of character, whereas you're consistently a character throughout these shows, which is just amazing. So I applaud you for that. Our great leader. Exactly.
Thanks. Kind of modest, but I just when I'm a character, I want to be that character. Like I'm a fan as well, right? So when I see, say, Darth Vader there, and I go up to meet a cosplayer as Darth Vader, I want to get the Darth Vader experience. I don't want some guy going, "Yeah, hi, the Force be with you. I'm your father." No, I want the menacing Darth Vader thing. So when I get in a character, I'm going to give them Dr. Evil, okay? Because that's what they want. That's what they're looking at. Yeah.
Yeah. And Gru's another character that you have here. I'm going to actually show a quick picture here of two of your major characters that we see at a lot of the conventions. And you're an entertainer, villain, host. This is amazing. This is absolutely great work that you're doing here. So tell us a little bit about how you developed that character as well.
Sorry about that. That's my fart gun. Sometimes it goes off. I don't know what's going on. See, when in doubt, use the fart gun because fart jokes always make people laugh. It's really cool. Now, how I got into Gru was I was like just sitting back at home and I think it was Ellen. I'm not too sure, whatever. But I saw Steve Carell come out because he was promoting a movie dressed as Gru with the prosthetic nose, like live, right? With this outfit, not as good as mine because I had someone, make it. After they watched that, they go, "I can do better," and she did. I go, I can do that because he talks with a European accent, and I can just like imitate my mom because she talk like, "Steve, why you not do this? Why you not married? Steve, why you not have a house? Steve, I disappoint in you. Why you used to be nice boy. The girl down the street, Steve, why?" Like, so I just like imitate my mom, but I use a deeper voice than what she says because no one like, "Steve, what?" No, not really.
No,
So I figured I could do that.
Awesome. So I'm just trying to understand the kind of the complexity of your character here, because I mean it must mean that you got like a bit of multiple personality disorder, I assume, here between Dr. Stevil and Gru and any other characters. I kind of like that guy from what was that M. Night Shyamalan movie where he played multiple characters.
Right, yeah, from Glass.
From Glass, yes. You kind of resemble him. He has the, or maybe you are him, right? Because you got the bald head going. So I mean, it's
oh, come on, bald is beautiful, dude.
Bald is beautiful.
The Rock. Beautiful. Right now, I got my Goldberg thing happening. I'm starting to do that. I just got to do a few more push-ups. Otherwise, it would have given you the whole full glory of like, who's next? Have smoke coming up. I didn't get time to prepare. But
so there's one thing I wanted to kind of mention because I want to talk a bit about your history and work. I mean, this is a movie you start. I guess it was a movie or a TV show. It was called Common Ground many years ago that you played in.
Yeah, when I was going to college at Sheridan, it's like I thought, oh my gosh, I can get into movies. So I got an extras agent, which actually I took a stunt course, Stunt Productions Canada, so I could be a stuntman, right? So after I did the paid for the training and did it, they got me a lot of extra work.
Nice. And
me growing up in
role, or
no, that's my first time I saw myself on screen live. The Common Ground was in 1970s about the Boston racial riots. It's two different families, a colored family and a white family in Boston, and eventually some people interact. It's about bringing the integration of school systems, right? And I was playing one of the townies, the protesters that didn't want this stuff happening. So that was just me protesting. And all those pictures you saw was, since I was an extra background worker, they could bring me back all the time and just like put makeup and stuff on me. I could be a different person. And
And so you
It
you
was
worked
cool.
on also like there's another movie here called The Firing Squad, where you were an extra here back in, I think you said in the 80s, late 80s or something.
Yeah, 89. The movie came out in 90. It's a TV show. It's based on the only Canadian that was charged with that wasn't treason, desertion. He was about to
Oh
get
wow!
executed, hence the firing squad.
And you're that guy there, just at the bottom there, kneeling guy, right in the middle, right?
Yeah, that's me.
That's
Uh,
awesome. That's
and
awesome.
the funny thing is, we were in the water, right? So they used this for, and we were supposed to be in France, but that's somewhere up in North Ontario there. Um, they put wetsuits on underneath us, right? Because we had to go into the freezing cold water and push a truck out, like for one scene. Like I'm not sure what it was for, but
Oh wow!
a whole bunch of us and got into the water. We pushed it out. The wetsuits were great.
It's
They
funny
didn't
because
freeze our butts off.
I mentioned this to you just before going live here. We like I used to work in extra work years ago when I first started. I was in college in an art school. I went to OCAD, OCAD or OCA, whatever you know it as. But extra work was kind
CD.
of a OCD. But when I went there during my years in college, I had to get a job and something that I could still do my work in between while I was kind of living at home and between that and meeting my girlfriend who was now my wife, but at the time. I did a lot of extra work. I worked on in background around Toronto, tons of movies being shot here in Toronto alone. And I see like this is another movie you did, Murder in Normandy. So that's you back there as well with a bunch of the guys. Um, uh,
That's right. I had hair back then. I had that
yeah,
was my on-screen appearance.
nice, and that's so you did this also. How long ago was this?
This was done. We filmed it in 2001. I was in Vancouver at the time.
Oh
I was
wow,
trying to find work over there. I was doing extra work there, but I was also in the military. I mean, I had about three different jobs going. And then I decided
that's
that, you know
awesome.
what, I'm going to try and take the next step into acting. So I kind of went to the William Davis School of Acting. It's William Davis. He's the actor that played Cancer Man on the X-Files series. So I
Oh
went
wow,
there. I got a few courses. We got a couple of videos made, and once I showed the video to my agent, which was actually a modeling agency that just like used me to send me out for extra work again.
yeah,
Those
a lot of
those
them
cool.
did that back then.
But once he saw the video, he's like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." I mean, like, what were you thinking during that? So I guess I impressed him. So I started to get audition. I got started to get sent on auditions, which was cool. Um,
Nice.
Unfortunately, at that same time, or fortunately, depends on how you put it, I uh, I did my summer courses with the military to be trained as a lineman, and I was offered a position to go overseas to work for the Canadian military in Bosnia for more money than I've ever seen um, as a
Wow.
civilian. So it's like adventure or struggling. So I chose adventure.
Wow. And you also, I know you were you in Afghanistan at one point for
I was after the Bosnia gig. The same people that I worked for called me up, and I went to work for in Afghanistan for NATO as a
wow, wow.
communications tech.
That's amazing. Hands down to you for that. I mean, that's very impressive. And you know what? It's nice to know that people as evil as you can actually help us out.
Well, how
So
do you know what
sometimes,
I was doing there was good? Maybe I was making
yeah.
my contacts, huh?
There you go.
Why do you think the
There you
war went
go.
on so long? Until Saddam pissed me off, and then boom, I told him where they're hiding. Yeah, he's in the hole.
There you
Jerk.
go.
He owed me money.
He owed you a few bucks there,
He
eh?
did.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, I mean, this is amazing. I mean, you also do a bit of like live pro wrestling. I mean, more of the indie stuff, right? That you were doing.
Yeah, oh,
Uh,
that was fun. Like I got to live out a dream there with CCW
nice, nice.
class. I first started off as a one of those. Is that a comic book show? Right, Comic Con in London. Before they got this big, they had a wrestling show put in, a wrestling ring put in, and I knew the referee, so I said, "Hey, can I do some announcing?" And the guy who owns it, looks at me, and goes, "All right, Doctor Evil will announce." So of course, I announced the match. It says Doctor Evil, and he actually gave me a card to read, which I was surprised because when I first did it, Anime North, I had to fake it. They gave me no information whatsoever, so they threw me out in the ring, and I had to kind of like entertain people. Like, and the next person coming out is I don't know. But this was amazing. It was good. And we had a
Oh,
guy
it's
called Del
awesome.
Morgado who does Austin Powers impersonator.
Yeah, so
He
I
came in.
see.
Yeah,
Is
he
that
came
the
into the
image
ring with me to co-announce, but he kept pushing and insulting me, right? So it's almost like he was pushing for a match. Now, none of us are trained wrestlers, so
Must have been
when
fun to watch.
it was interesting because right at the end of the whole show, we're about to say, "Okay, thank you very much, thanks for coming," and then he goes, "Wait a sec." And of course, the crowd goes nuts. He goes, "You don't think this is over, do you?" I'm like, "Oh my god, dude, what are we gonna do?"
What are you
Because
doing?
right,
He just
exactly.
dragged you right into it.
And then we had to finish off as the main event. But we
That's
talked to the
hilarious.
promoter, even though the ref didn't know what the finish was going to be. So,
Well,
so
that's part of improv, right? You got to be involved and love it and just go with it. So I'm that must have been an experience though.
it was. From what I've learned from some of the wrestling things, we all we had to do was we turn, we walk around, we'd lock up, we'd back up, we'd fake it. I would go outside of the ring. I'd like tie my shoelace or something and try and fake it until we eventually locked up. And then Austin Powers did his famous karate chop, and I didn't see what was coming, and boom, I was out.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
It goes
unfortunately,
judo chop, boom, and that's all I
sometimes
remember.
you got to just take it, right? Take it like a man.
Yeah, yeah, it was just
And
weird.
so I see a really cool image here of you in Las Vegas. This was how long ago was this?
This was beginning of 2020.
So just this
This,
year.
this year, February.
Oh wow, wow! So you went out to Vegas, and what was this about?
This is the Real Awards. It's a celebrity impersonator award show and whatnot. First couple days, a lot of us impersonators and tribute artists go out and do our stuff, like for any buyers and you know buyers that would want to purchase shows and stuff. So I kind of went as Dr. Evil and did my first scripted comedy routine as the doctor. So you take like regular things and you like put it through Dr. Evil's point of view as how things would be. And the first night was nah. Um, I, I felt bad. I was nervous. It just felt really awkward. The
I hear.
second night, I did a different routine, and I think I killed it. I felt a lot better. Everything was good.
Nice, nice. And like you attended a bunch of celebrity impersonator conventions. You were nominated funniest male and most unique act in 2018 and 2019. What was that about? Like tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I guess they got some like not only singers, but I guess they got comedians and people that are funny that go up on stage and whatnot. Now I was just in character my first year the entire time, so I was being Doctor Evil, saying silly little things as you do when you're nervous, and
Nice.
I didn't really have an act the first year. So I brought both Doctor Evil and Gru, and both nights I came on a certain. It was like a Johnny Carson type show. So I came
Yeah.
out and I just like improv. I didn't know what was happening, so I just improved everything and was as silly as I could be, and the audience loved it. So and
Sometimes you
it
just got
was
to be yourself, right? You got to be Stevil.
right, and it was the regular cast, right? It was voted upon by my peers, the other
Yeah.
entertainers. They were like, so I was nominated, so that was at least good. And unique act
No,
was like it's freaking Doctor Evil. I mean, how much more unique can you be? Or Gru.
and the one yeah, the one thing I want to mention, because you were in the original Heroes Manufactured film, you were also you're in our new show, by the way. I wanted to mention this to our viewers. You got a nice clip at the end of the first episode, after the credits, guys. It's part of our blooper reel, so check that out. And then you're also you've got a little scene with you as Gru in our second episode. So in our new season, yeah, our first season of our new TV show. Heroes Manufactured, Creators Unleashed. You're going to be in 2 episodes there, so I did want to mention that.
Wow. I
Yeah.
don't ever remember you guys with a camera while I was Gru.
Well, yeah, you were. I think it was at Hamilton Comic Con. You were Gru there, and I actually want to show a little video clip here of a couple of videos that we have of you. One, I'm not sure which show this was, but you were.
What's your name? Emma. You want the balloon? Read it. Really? This is for you. Okay.
Like that's just a little clip there of you. What show was that?
That was at ThunderCon in Thunder Bay.
Wow, that's awesome. And that
They flew me up there the second year. The first year was because Mindy Sterling was there, and they wanted the doctor to interact with Frau Farbissina.
Oh, nice.
And then the second year, they really liked what I did, so they brought me back, and I did a show for them. Little comedy. I hosted a show, so we added a little bit of comedy to that. And then I was 2 characters, and they just had me busy the entire weekend. And I had a great time.
That's awesome. That is definitely awesome. And yeah, I mean, that just shows, like, I just wanted to show our audience too, like the way you interact with kids. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I've seen, and that's kind of a clip that we have. We have a very similar clip to that in Hamilton Comic Con, where you're with kids, you're having fun with them, you're playing with them, and it's, you got the act going, and the kids are just kind of like amazed that you're there, right? Because they know you.
I don't like kids.
Yeah.
It's part of my community service to be a good guy. I have to play with the kids. La la la. Yay. Pretend I'm having fun. Oh boy.
Yeah. Well,
being a bad guy reputation, the past catches up to you, and this is my penance. I'm sorry.
Well, my kids love all 3 of your movies there, Gru. So I mean, it's
There's
awesome.
a new one coming out where it's young me. It's
Oh,
Gru Rises.
wow.
Oh, it's great. I saw the trailers
Rises.
are great. I had hair back then. It was wow, amazing. You should check it out.
Awesome. That is definitely awesome. And so this is another video clip I do want to show our audience as well. I mean, tell us a little bit about this here.
Dr. Evil 32. I didn't spend 6 years in evil medical school to go this. Thank you very much. What are you little cat? Little cat? Are you longer?
Hey.
Could you hear the sound on it?
Yeah. We could hear that sound here. I hope hopefully our viewers can see it as well. But that's Joan Rivers.
It was Joan Rivers impersonator. This was the red carpet in Las Vegas.
Nice.
They had the event come up, so I came up and she asked me a few questions. So I just hammed it up as Dr. Evil, and it was a pleasure working with her. I kind of made her. She kind of lost it when she asked about my where my cat is. So, and I answered, sadly he's not here anymore, but I'm looking for a new shaved pussy cat.
Oh.
Poor lady almost lost it. It was. I was waiting to use that.
I'd say there's no swearing on this show because we go on YouTube. However, you said pussycat, so I mean it's all
pussycat. What? I just had a little something in my throat for the pause.
No worries. It's not a kids show, just so you know. So it's all good. It's all good. And
good, so I can say poop.
Poop, yes.
It won't be censored.
Poop and pee pee.
Because we're live.
Yes.
Live.
Sorry. But then here's another one. There's another image here of you as Gru, and you also you're doing an interview here. What are these 2 images? Like, where were you here?
This was in Orlando, Florida, at the Sunburst Convention. My first celebrity impersonator con.
Oh wow!
I had a good.
That was back in 2018, I think.
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Wow,
this year's was
awesome.
canceled, obviously, for COVID reasons.
Yeah, no, for sure. And is this so? Is this also? This is part of Sunburst. This is a bigger.
This is Sunburst. Check out the people we got there. We got the Colonel Sanders, Johnny Miller. We got Liz Taylor. We got Lady Gaga. We got little Trump there. We got the Queen, Dolly Parton. We got Austin Powers, Tom Cruise.
Wow.
The pirate there.
So these
Abraham Lincoln in the background. Marilyn Obama.
These are all impersonators from across the country, right? They're all guys who came out to be
mostly from the U.S. We got a few from overseas, UK, and from Canada.
Any others from Canada there?
Yeah, we've got Marilyn Monroe in the back. She's Canadian.
Nice.
We should have Tony Stark there. You may know him. James.
Yeah, I've seen him many times at I know at like the Hamilton shows and Niagara Canada shows. He travels quite a bit. Nice guy. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Bonnie Kilroy back there. Yeah, we've got a small Canadian group, which is nice. And most of them were at Vegas as well.
Now there's another show here that you did called Retro Rama, and I believe you did an interview here. Tell us a bit about this.
Retro Rama was it's supposed to be a retro convention that was done in Windsor, Ontario. It was kind of hosted by the same people that at Christmas Con, but one of the guys that got me involved, he said I'd be hosting. So I actually hosted all the celebrity panels. This was the actors panel. And the lady to the left is Joanne Rowland. She's from Land of the Dead and other
Oh wow.
episodes. The gentleman there is Steve Wishoff from the series Oz.
Oh
Um,
wow.
the next lady with a little bit of blue on her hair, she is Allison Angram. She plays Nellie Olson from Little House on the Prairie, the little bully girl.
Oh wow. I
Remember
remember
that?
her. Yeah, the little blonde bully girl. Now she's
Yeah, yeah.
blonde.
Oh, yeah, she's amazing to talk to. And Erin Moran from Happy Days, Joni, as you can see right
Oh
next to
wow.
me.
Wow,
Um,
wow, wow.
so
That's
so
amazing.
I just hosted everybody together, and it was great because once you start one or two questions, everyone else will like pipe in and give their experiences. So once I do that, I can kind of sit back and they all talk and entertain the crowd. And I had a few of those to do with different artists and comic book writers and artists as well. So by the time I got my first one, I was kind of awkward. But by the time I got to the last show, I freaking nailed it because I was doing it all day.
Nice.
Sadly, I went over my time. Should have been half hour each, but I think everyone was so interesting. It went over an hour. So by the time I finished and got upstairs, I didn't get a chance to get autographs and photos with these guys. So oops, I overdid
Oh,
it.
it's all good. Listen, as long as you had fun and I mean, you got the photos to show it. I mean, that's amazing. That's great in itself. And I mean, that kind of brings me into a different discussion because you've met tons of celebrities in the past, both working on movie shoots, but also in just at conventions. I mean, this year's Jeffrey Wiseman, who I interviewed this guy as well, but he's a great guy. He was in Back to the Future 2 and 3. He took over for what's the actor's name who played Michael J. Fox's father in the first
Yeah.
film.
The name I can't really seem to remember, but I know who you're talking about. He was
Yeah,
also in Charlie's Angels.
yeah, exactly. And Jeffrey was a great actor in parts 2 and 3. Crispin, if the other guy's name is
Crispin, yeah.
yeah,
Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover, yeah, exactly. So he was a replacement. Jeffrey was the replacement for him in Back to the Future 2 and 3. And you said you interviewed him as well. He was an awesome guy. I mean, he's one of my Facebook friends. I still have him on Facebook till today. Great guy.
I don't know if I should say this, but when I'm walking around, right, he see me as my Dr. Evil outfit, and he kind of looked and waved at me. So I'm like, okay. I didn't really know. I knew he was a celebrity, but I didn't really know from what because I didn't do my homework. So I
No,
walked
that's
over and they go, "Hey, how you doing?" He's a celebrity, right? You know, he talked to me, so we made eye contact. He likes Dr. Evil. So I said, okay, can I asked him for an interview. So we did. And then right during the interview, he pulled up that he was from Back to the Future and he showed the picture of him that was taken over for Crispin Glover. And I was amazed. And the entire video, we were just improving the whole thing. It was like it totally funny to one point where he had a balloon and he freaking let it go and he starts blaming me and we had a little like funny argument on. I mean, it was just comedy galore. That guy just freaking nailed it. Everything.
yeah. He's
Some of my
awesome
funnest
guy.
interviews.
Yeah, Jeffrey's definitely an awesome guy. Easy guy to chat with. If you ever see him at conventions, literally go up to him and just find out more about that because there's a lot of actors that were replaced in Back to the Future 2 and 3, and people don't realize this until you actually go back and see. If you see the ending of Part 1 and the beginning of Part 2, they're actually filmed with different actors, but made to look almost identical. So I mean, it's really interesting. The girl playing Jennifer is not even the same actress, right?
Really?
Yeah, different actress for her as well. So I mean, yeah, it literally you got to go back, watch 2 and 3 together. Like, sorry, 1 and 2 together, and you'll see the differences between the actors. And it's funny because they did that. Even Michael J. Fox wasn't supposed to be the original Marty McFly. So I mean, it was supposed to be what's his name, orange-haired dude.
Yeah.
He played in so many movies in the '80s. Forgot his name. I'm horrible with.
Yeah, but we can't really remember him. I know who you're talking about. I got the same story, but I even watched the interview.
Another big '80s legend. I should remember those being involved with this stuff, but Sorry, it was Michael J. Fox that won that one, so I'll just go with Michael J. Fox.
Michael, it's the only Marty we know.
Only Marty we know, and only Marty we will ever care about. So, and that being said, you've also I know you've met Mini Me, which is Vern Troyer, which I have an image here of you, and that's the first time you met him, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. You've met him several times before his passing. Great guy. I met him twice myself. I mean, he was a fun guy. Like everything about this guy was just amazing. Like he was a legend in the work that he's done, and he did more than just Austin Powers. I mean, maybe tell us a little bit about meeting him and how that was.
Well, the guys at who run Niagara Falls Comic Con sent me a personal note saying, Steve, we've got Vern Troyer. He's going to be in town at a hotel. He's doing signings there. Right? They let me know. Thanks, guys. So after work, I drove all the way to Niagara Falls, and I was still new at doing the Dr. Stevil thing, right? Like in public. So I get in the bathroom, I'm putting on my Dr. Evil outfit, look at these weird people. And I hear a big commotion in outside by the doors. So I run out and I see this crowd of people gathered around. So I kind of push my way through, and I don't see anyone. And then I hear, hey, it's my brother from another mother. I look down and there's Vern on his scooter. He's all smiling. He's like a little sunshine thing. So I go through him. I don't know what I said, but like I was like all excited. Hello, how are you doing? I'm Dr. Steve, blah, blah. He goes, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you talk in your normal voice? That's the first time in 3 years people got to hear this coming with a Dr. Stevil outfit.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
And
that's
I
an awesome
told him who
story.
I was. I told him what I do. I asked for an interview. He said, yeah, sure, no problem. I said, but I got to do it in this voice. And he said, yeah, okay. Then later on, he kind of said it was freaking him.
I do want to share a little clip of that video because I do have it here. And I'm going to have to screen share this one. It's a little bit different from what we typically do. But let's see if I can get that here. And we'll get right to it. It's going to be off of my YouTube because that's the only way I was able to catch this thing. But let's take a look right now.
Supposed to have music on it. Dun dun. Yeah, the sorry with the audio with YouTube, I find it's kind of terrible, but
no worries.
That's a little promo.
Play that again for anyone.
That means Susan, I'm checking with Dr. Steve-Vil.
Dude, you're like freaking me out though right now.
Dr. Steve-Vil finally meets Vern Troyer. What are the rumors of the Fort Austin Powers meeting?
The only thing I can say is
So that's a little clip there. And that's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, you really got to meet some great people along the way over the years. I mean, that's just impressive overall.
Here's my highlight.
No, for sure. There's no doubt. And then I love this little picture here you got. That's with Michael Ironside there in the middle, right?
That's correct, Michael Ironside. I originally remember him from the miniseries V back in the 80s. He played Ham Tyler, the bad guy that just wanted to kill everybody. I kill all the lizards because, he was like a xenophobe, I guess. This picture was freaking amazing. Todd Paul, the other guy next to us, he runs a Droids Canada podcaster. And he likes getting photos taken with celebrities, and he always invites me to them, right? And I'm like, well, he's spending a lot of money inviting me onto these things, so I'm going to pick one. And I chose Michael Ironside. So he went to talk to Michael Ironside. We go, hi, how you doing? He goes, okay, guys, on 3, put your hands out. 1, 2, 3, click. We did that. And he goes, okay, now let's do a real one. Just because that was fun. All right, we did. Then when we went to pick up the pictures, right, they had both this one and the real one. And so I chose this one, right, because I guess they printed it by mistake. And as I was leaving, the lady's going, hey, you come back. I'm like, oh, crap, I'm in trouble. You forgot your picture. Yes.
Oh,
so I got a photo for free. And then I go, we go to talk to him, and he's a really good, personable guy. He's not as mean as you see on in the movies. So I go, hi, how you doing? Hey, can you sign this picture? And his handler was going, okay, that's going to be $10. And Michael goes, "No, man, this one was just made as a joke. No, it's for free."
Oh, that's awesome. That is
Right?
awesome. That is awesome.
He wasn't even supposed to be there. I guess he was just in town filming something, and his I guess everybody was at Comic-Con, so he just decided, "Hey, I want to come," and they just gave him a booth.
Yeah, Michael Ironside has always been a great, great actor. I personally loved him back in Highlander 2, The Quickening. I thought that was a great movie back in the 90s. And then I loved him in Starship Troopers. I mean, that was, he always he either plays a really great villain or just a really big prick. But in real life, like you said, he's an awesome. Yeah. And the one thing I mentioned to you just before we started the show, I was like, he must have been an inspiration to being evil, right?
Oh, pretty well, man. It's like, yeah, this dude's Canadian and he can be evil all over the place. Damn.
And
He's
he's
one of those
bald.
guys that, although he's an actor, he gets typecast as these evil, badass guys. And during an interview, he once said, "I've never had military training in my life, yet they keep wanting to give me a gun." I was like, all right.
And I mean, how, like, as a performer, because you have had military training, did you use that as like a way to break into the business? Because I know a lot of SSE, a lot of background work requires that. I've been on some shoots years ago where, that's, if you have that tactical background, it definitely is a skill that's used in cinema. And I mean, it's easier for a captain or a general who comes out to play certain continuity in films to work with someone like you versus someone who's just being taught how to hold a gun, right? So how's
that
that?
kind of helped. That helped with the movie Firing Squad, and it
Nice.
also helped with what is it called? A Murder in Normandy. That totally helped me get the role there.
Very nice, very nice.
But while in Vancouver, I had the military training, and I tried to join some military specialist group, right, of actors. Like they train people, but they wouldn't take me. It's like, but why? I've got military training background. Well, because I didn't look the part. I wasn't huge and buff like anyone else. They wanted not only guys to hold guns, but to look like Schwarzenegger all the time. I'm like,
Well, I mean, you also
no, man,
played.
I'm overseas with the real forces, and there's like little skinny guys and other shit. But
people don't realize it's not always the Arnolds and the Slies that are the ones really battling out there. But
we look good doing it. Look at this. I'm holding a gun. It's fantastic. Get
well,
down.
you got the Steve Austin look now, right? So I mean, and then you also in 2002 you played in Battlestar Galactica, the miniseries. How was that? I was working on a franchise like that.
It was a dream come true. When I found out they're shooting Battlestar Galactica in Vancouver, I got the work myself. I kind of went over looking for whoever's casting it, the casting director. I sent emails and letters and resumes. I sent it to his house until I finally got I said, okay, cool, you can go for a costume fitting. And then I went, and I was part of the main extras.
Nice.
Like they had like, when you have a whole group of people, that's mass extras, right? They call a cattle call. But I was part of the main extras, so we get paid a bit more, and we're pretty well called all the time. Like every time there was a they were shooting on the in the hangar bay, I was called, whether I was on set or not. I was called to be there. So we had a group of people that we knew, and for me it was freaking awesome because every time I walked on and I saw that like wooden replica of the Viper that I used to watch in the 70s, all I could it was like that Wayne's World movie, Dreamweaver. All I could see, everything else was soft focus, and I could just focus on that. I just go up, give it a hug, and people are like thinking I'm a bit nuts, but this is like nobody really thought it would go anywhere, that miniseries, but once they did a good job with it, it took off, and boom, you saw what happened.
No, for sure. And you know what? Like, I'd love to have you also on our Movie Minutes show with our new host Philip Moran, because he touches on movies, he touches on actors, he plays on it all. He doesn't touch actors because that's kind of weird, but yeah. But I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd love for you to be on that show as well, just to have us.
Kevin Spacey touches actors.
Yeah, he does. He touches a lot of actors, unfortunately.
Too much. Too soon.
Yeah, too soon. But and hopefully he won't get away with that. But the thing is, like, I'd love to have like a bigger conversation about the industry for actors, because especially with Hollywood pumping out a lot of these comic book type movies, these video game movies. I worked on Resident Evil 2 years ago. I had my first actor union credit on that, and then I worked on Hollywoodland with Ben Affleck. I had my first role there with him, and that was kind of it for me after that. But
Hollywoodland. Oh, cool. That's where he played Christopher or George Reeves, right?
George Reeves, yeah, I actually had a speaking role with him. I had my first line. It was I got the beer here for Mr. Reeves. He tips me $100 and then says, "Hey kid, go make your first million." And that was my one role in the movie. And I'm like, right,
I got that. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna look for you.
yeah, I'm right. I'm like at least like 30, 40 pounds less. But yeah. That's what we'll say on camera, right? But
camera makes you look 10, 20 pounds more. So it's
yeah, so it doesn't matter, right? Yeah, of course. But yeah, I mean, that was a move. That was my second role. I got paid like $3,000-$4,000 for one line in a movie. It was like insane. Yeah, I got my credit on IMDb for it till today, so it was awesome to be on that. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, that was technically a comic book movie, right? Because it's George Reeves played Superman, and when he played that Superman, I was gonna say is, I knew he would be a great Batman. The second I saw him as Superman, the classic George Reeves Superman, I was like, this guy's got he could be Batman, right? So when he was casted as Batman, I was like, wow, that's just amazing. But enough about Batman and Ben Affleck. We'll talk about Stevil here. But
hold on. You got your acting credits. How come you didn't pursue the acting industry?
Didn't want to act at all. Couldn't stand acting. I loved working with actors. I couldn't do it myself. I didn't feel like I wanted to act personally. It just was never a thing for me. Didn't care to act. I enjoyed always the behind the scenes. Kind of like now. I mean, I love the chat. I just didn't want to do it. Just purely didn't see myself wanting to do it. And it's a love-hate relationship. Love working with actors, love actors, hate being one, right? It's not my thing. So I have a different kind of appreciation for the movies and kind of the creative end of it. But also with comics, right? Comic books are like telling movies. It's like very similar forms of storytelling. So I get that, and we explore that in our movie and all that, because it's there's a lot of connections to comics and movies. And you worked with Alfonso from Studio Comics. I know that's like you've been involved with him on the comic book end of things. I know he's done some cool sketches. He's featured you on his websites, on a bunch of his shows. And the one thing I always remember was in Montreal when I saw you guys there. You were the only one there. No, none of his crew came at that time, which was like, and it was kind of like highlight of our movie. Yeah, it was one of the highlights of our movies that he had a crew that didn't show up, and he was having some difficulties at the time. I'm so glad that he was able to overcome that very quickly. He's the kind of guy who can overcome it in a second. Like he does it, and he was doing it. Yeah, he has no choice, and he was doing it right on camera. And I was just amazed. I was like, wow, this guy is. The tenacity and the that he had was just unbelievable. And for someone who's an immigrant who came here, doesn't have all the resources when you first come here, and he was already here for a long time, but he knew how to like get what he wants, right? Which to me, that's amazing. And the fact that you were there, and you were assisting him, you were helping him kind of behind the scenes, was amazing. You don't see that from people, so I admire you for that. I mean, it's great work overall.
It's a give and take with me and Alfonso. I mean, when I went to the cons, he let me place my stuff by his table all the time, and I got to wander off and do stuff. And this way, he got me a decent price on the ticket. So of course, we're gonna work together. And you kidnapped him, and you left me all by myself at his table to have a picture with Bill Shatner. I heard that was great experience.
Yeah. No, it was interesting because he was even with Alfonso. I mean, overall, I gotta say I do the same thing. A lot of times I'll come out to his booth and he'll he's like, leave your stuff here, don't worry about it. And you know that's how it is with Alfonso with Studio Comics. They're more like a family. When you come to the cons, you see him, you start to interact with him like like he's your best friend, like from 20, 30 years ago, right? And I've held his booth for him a few times. Like, yo, do you mind if watching my booth for like 10 minutes? I gotta go grab a coffee break or a smoke or whatever. And I feel good doing it because I know that he treats us the same way, and he's one of those like indie guys who it doesn't matter where you are, if you're here, if you're in the US with him, wherever it is, he treats you like family, which I gotta admit, like he was one of the nicest guys I worked with on the original film, and I thought his story was one of the most interesting stories to explore, and that's why we wanted to go after Alfonso and literally go after him, but yeah.
Well, that's another thing I really enjoyed about Heroes Manufactured. Is that a lot of the people you featured were friends of mine, people I've seen and talked to and interacted with the comic book industry, most of these Canadian artists. Megan Carter, Alfonso, Ty Templeton, and a few of the other guys.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. No, they're great guys. And yeah, it's amazing to see that. Going back to you, one last kind of thing. There's a couple of more images here I want to explore. She sent me a bunch of cool images. This was you as Barney, Barney Rubble, right? So I mean, where was this done?
Oh, geez, guy, that was really fun. It was New Year's Eve at the Kitchener City Hall. And Steve Buckley from Toy Show, they brought in a bunch of dinosaurs. So I put on my Trump wig and the piece of the Barney Rubble outfit, and I kind of went there and had a good time.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And a couple more photos I have here from you. This one here, that's where's that from?
That is in Toronto back in 1999. It was one of the first things I've done as a background. It was called On Thin Ice, the Thai Babylonia story. It's based on true life story of Thai Babylonia. She was a Olympic skater that had some problems with drugs and whatnot. I was dressed like that because I was going to be, I was in the military. I was in a scene with her brother who was in the military, and he was watching his sister compete in the Olympics live, and me and him like high five each other and stuff. So it was pretty cool.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And I think the real athlete, Ty, came out and saw me and was going, "Hi, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, talent's talking to me." Ah.
Yeah. And so this photo here, is this another film you worked on, or
this is from the Firing Squad? The same thing. This is actor Steve Zmijak.
Okay. Nice.
A lot of people may know him as the voice of Beetlejuice from the Nelvana animated series. He does a lot of voice work now. Yeah. At that time, I didn't know. He was just a stage actor when I met him. That's what he was talking about, and he was doing this little thing. And we chatted a bit, and we had a picture taken.
Very nice.
And then
very nice.
I looked back, found out Steve Zmijak, and then I found out he was doing the voice of Beetlejuice. And like, holy crap, I know that guy. Boom.
Yeah, it's like I forgot the guy's name, but I met the guy who did being an actor, union member. For years I've been going out to their events and got to meet the voice of Inspector Gadget. Really nice guy, known Canadian actor.
Cherry guy.
Yeah, I forget the name, so I'm horrible with the name, but he was an awesome guy too. I mean, you meet a lot of these guys and you don't realize that a lot of them are Canadian. A lot of good Canadian talent is out there in the world of comics, cartoons, everything. I mean, the childhood voices that you grew up off watching, films, cartoons, comics, whatever it is that you're watching, reading, the writers behind it. A lot of these guys are Canadian, American as well. A lot of them are Americans who have either lived in Canada. Lou Ferrigno, I hear, has a place here in Canada. I mean, in Hamilton. I mean, that's pretty impressive. There's a lot of guys in the business that you don't realize are between the U.S. and Canada a lot, and I love showing that as part of what we do here on Heroes Manufactured Live, but also in general, right? So, listen, man, you have an amazing portfolio of work here. I'm so happy that we were able to showcase it and just explore what you've done over the years. But listen, I appreciate you coming on having me on your show today. I remember, guys.
Right, yeah.
The Stevil Manufactured. Just remember, guys. Okay.
Season 2.
Season 2. Because we never had.
Season 2 was so great. We decided to skip season 1. Hell yeah, we're just going straight for season
1
2.
episode of season 2. That's awesome. But yeah, thanks for having me on your show today. And
For sure,
but
you got this. Yeah.
yeah, and I appreciate that. And yeah, definitely. I would love to be on your show again in the near future.
You know, I've got a friend, Dr. Stevil, that's me. Maybe we could talk about the career of Yaren and see, learn
Oh
more
yeah,
about you and my show. Or we'll have it your show. I can come on that. We'll talk
yeah.
about
I guess
you.
we can go back on my show eventually. That'd be fun. Uh, but yeah, for sure. Thanks again for everything today. And yeah, listen, let's talk soon. I'd love to have another chat with you again.
No problem. Thanks a lot. I hope I answered whatever you wanted. Hope things weren't too
Yeah.
rushed or me talking too much
No,
because
not at all. Not at all. Not at all. No, not at all. And by all means, guys, also check out if you guys just one last thing here. If you want to learn more, watch some really interesting footage of Stevil with Vern, right? Vern Troy there.
Actually, chatting with Stevil. Stevil would be spelled Stevil. Chatting with
Oh,
Stevil, one word on YouTube.
so my bad on the spelling.
I had to use Steve-Vil because you know that a few years ago Facebook is saying you can't have Dr. Stevil, you can't have aliases. So I had to come up with a name. So it's like fart. Steve Vil would be my last name now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I had to do that. Thanks, Facebook.
There you go. So I mean, but that's the YouTube link. So if they do want to check it out, go to the YouTube link, guys. Also, one last thing that I do want to mention on your show, but check out there that that's our YouTube channel there for Heroes Manufactured. Definitely subscribe to that. In any day now, we're waiting for the series that actually you're going to be featured on Stevil, Heroes Manufactured Creators Unleashed. It should be, and everything. We've already submitted to Amazon Prime Video, so definitely check it out. Again, I'm going to show the quick image here just for everyone if they want to see what it looks like. Heroes Manufactured Creators on Prime Video, and that should be coming out this week. So that's going to be a big show with our host Philip Moran, and you can check out our YouTube channel as I mentioned. If you are looking for more information on the show itself, definitely go to heroesmanufactured.com. There'll be more there. Or you can visit us at Heroes Manufactured on our Facebook group below.
I will be there.
Yeah, you'll definitely be there. There's no doubt. But yeah, so
I'm a big fan.
Thanks again, guys. Great chatting with you, Steve. And yeah, we'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Aaron.